There is an ancient force that pulses through the veins of the universe. A presence, steady, silent, sacred. This is the divine masculine. He is not the dominator, not the absent father, nor the wounded boy in a man's shell. He is the guardian of the unseen, the protector of the sacred, the leader of the soul's mission. But today, he sleeps, put to sleep by a culture that ridicules his depth, by pain buried in silence, by fear disguised as strength. Still, he whispers, in restless nights, in the ache for purpose, in the silent rage, in the quiet knowing, there's more to life than this. This is your invitation, not to become someone new, but to remember who you truly are. The divine masculine needs you, not as a concept, but as a presence. Awaken. The journey begins now, remembering the sacred king within. There is a kingdom within you, not made of stone or gold, but of presence, order, and purpose. You may not see it, not yet, because life has buried it under layers of expectation, shame, silence, and survival. But it's there, waiting, long before the world told you who to be, before the systems broke your spirit, before you were taught to sit down, toughen up, and shut your soul. You were born carrying the crown of the sacred king. This king is not a role. He is not a mask. He is a force of divine balance, a living archetype etched into your bones. He rules not with dominance, but with grounded authority. He creates harmony, not fear. He builds legacies, not empires of ego. But the king was forgotten, and in his absence, the world fell into imbalance. We replaced him with the tyrant who controls through fear, and with the weakling who avoids all responsibility. We exalted the hustler, but exiled the wise one. We glorified the external crown and forgot the inner throne. And you may have felt it, the tension, the quiet knowing that something inside you has been asleep, that you were never meant to just survive. You were meant to lead, not over others, but over your own life, to govern your emotions like a king commands the court, to set boundaries like a king defends the borders, to bless others, to bring justice, to restore order in a world full of noise. This is what the sacred king does. He doesn't run from chaos. He holds presence within it. He doesn't avoid the pain. He walks into it with courage. He doesn't wear a crown to feel powerful. He wears it because he earned it. But here's the truth. No one will hand you this crown. No one will come and knight you, because in this life, the king must awaken himself. And the awakening begins when you dare to remember. Remember that you are not broken. You are becoming. You are being summoned. Not to perform, but to return to the part of you that knows, I was born to live with honor. I was born to protect the sacred. I was born to serve something greater than myself. I was born to lead my soul home. So look in the mirror, not with judgment, but with reverence. Look past the boy who is wounded, past the man who is tired. Look deeper, and you will see him, the king, calm, unshakable, awake. He has been waiting for you, and now he is ready to rise. Healing the wounded warrior. The wounded warrior lives in almost every man. He is the part of you that once fought for love, for truth, for connection and lost. The part that was told, "Men don't cry," or "get over it," or worse, was never told anything at all. He is the silence behind your smile, the tension in your jaw, the anger that rises without warning. The wounded warrior doesn't want war, he wants healing. But because no one taught him how to heal, he often turns his pain into armor. He becomes cold, reactive, withdrawn, or explosive. He builds walls where there should be bridges. He chooses numbness instead of feeling. He pushes people away before they can leave. But deep down, this is not who he truly is. It's who he became to survive. The world taught him to protect himself, but never how to lay his weapons down, never how to grieve, never how to be held without shame. Healing the wounded warrior doesn't mean erasing his scars. It means honoring them. It means walking back into the places that hurt and learning to bring compassion, forgiveness, and presence. It means finding the courage to feel again, to speak the truth out loud, and to remember that real strength includes softness. A healed warrior doesn't stop fighting. He just stops fighting himself. He no longer sees pain as weakness, but as a portal. He uses his story not as a shield, but as a torch to light the way for others. The world doesn't need more men pretending to be invincible. It needs men who are willing to face what hurts and keep their hearts open anyway. Because when the wounded warrior heals, he becomes a guardian, a protector, a true force of peace. And that changes everything. Initiation into purpose. Every man, whether he knows it or not, is born for something greater than survival. But in a world that celebrates distraction and speed, it's easy to forget, easy to drift, easy to wear the mask, chase the next goal, keep busy, while the soul slowly starves. And then it happens, a collapse, a silence, a breaking point. For some, it's a loss that shatters the illusion of control. For others, it's the quiet emptiness after achieving everything they were told would make them whole. That moment, the one that feels like failure or death, is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the ancient doorway of initiation. You are being summoned, not punished. Summoned into the deep work of remembering who you truly are and why you're really here. In ancient times, cultures knew this moment well. Boys were taken into the wild, into the unknown, stripped of comfort and tested through pain, silence, and fire. They returned not as children, but as men, not because they became perfect, but because they faced themselves. Today, those rites are gone, but the soul still remembers, and so it creates its own rituals. A divorce, a breakdown, a betrayal, a burnout, a death. Life carves into you until the man beneath the mask is revealed. It hurts, it disorients, and yet it is sacred, because purpose is never born from ease. It is born when everything unnecessary falls away. When you finally stop running, when you sit in the ashes of your former life and ask the real questions. What do I stand for? What do I serve? What do I want to leave behind? The world told you to chase success, but the soul calls you to become significant, not in fame, but in impact, in alignment, in truth. Initiation into purpose isn't a checklist, it's a transformation. It's the path of becoming a man who doesn't need to be told what to do, because he knows what must be done. He doesn't wait for permission. He acts from a deeper place. He knows his values and he lives by them, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. This man doesn't chase applause. He chases alignment. He doesn't lead from ego. He leads from presence. His relationships shift. His voice deepens. His energy speaks louder than his words. He walks differently, not because he's trying to impress, but because he's standing on solid ground. And the most powerful thing about him? He's not finished. He stays a student. He keeps evolving because he understands purpose is not a destination. It's a direction, a devotion, a daily practice. Every decision becomes part of the offering. Every act, no matter how small, carries the signature of his truth. The initiated man no longer asks, "What do I want from life?" He asks, "What does life want from me?" And from that place, he becomes unstoppable. Not through force, but through clarity. This is the journey. This is the fire. And if you're walking through it now, take heart. You are not lost. You are being forged. You are not failing. You are being called. Union with the divine feminine. The journey of the divine masculine is not complete without embracing the divine feminine. They are not opposites to be conquered or defeated, but complementary forces meant to dance in balance. The divine feminine is the energy of creation, intuition, nurturing, and flow. She is softness and strength intertwined, the wildness that births life, and the calm that sustains it. For too long, the masculine has been taught to deny, suppress, or fear this part of himself, the part that feels deeply, that surrenders to vulnerability, that listens with the heart instead of charging with the mind. But true awakening demands union. It calls the man to step beyond outdated paradigms of toughness and control, to recognize that power is not the absence of tenderness, but its fullest expression. The divine feminine invites you to open to your emotions, your fears, your desires, and to meet yourself there without judgment. This union is not about losing yourself in the feminine, nor overpowering it with masculine will. It is about harmony, the blending of action and surrender, of logic and mystery, of structure and chaos. When the divine masculine and divine feminine unite within, they create a sacred space where creativity flows freely, where healing becomes possible, and where wholeness is felt deeply. This union transforms not only the individual man, but the world around him, his relationships, his work, his purpose. He begins to lead not from separation, but from connection. He holds space for others to be whole and encourages growth without domination. But this path is not easy. It requires courage to face the shadows in both energies, to heal wounds of abandonment, rejection, and control that have kept them divided. It asks the man to confront his conditioning and to rewrite the story of what it means to be strong. In embracing the divine feminine, he learns patience, empathy, and the power of listening deeply. He discovers that true strength comes not from fighting against, but from flowing with life's currents. The union is a sacred dance, a lifelong practice of balancing giving and receiving, speaking and listening, leading and following. It is the alchemy that turns the fragmented into the whole, the warrior into the king, the lone soul into a radiant force of love and purpose. When you walk this path, you do not merely awaken the divine masculine, you awaken the fullness of your being. The divine masculine needs the divine feminine not to complete him, but to amplify the truth of who he is. Together, they are the architects of a new reality, one built on respect, honor, and profound connection. This is the ultimate journey, not just to awaken, but to unite, to become whole, to live as both strength and grace.